All right, here we are for the last and final lab that we're going to do for this redemption period, and we're going to be doing lab 11. So lab 11 consists of us looking at different variables of air and the feedback that we can get through air and learning from it. So we're going to look at self-regulated feedback, so what we see and what we tell ourselves as we're performing something to then fix it better. So it's a feed-forward process. We have to see the results before we can fix it and do a different iteration of it and approach it differently. There's different ways we can get feedbacks through augmented feedback. It's an intrinsic way of hearing what other people have to say, and it can be a feed forward or a feedback process where we're fixing it as we're doing it. We're fixing it before the completion of the task, and then they are telling us before we start another iteration of it to be a feed forward. So I'm not going to film every single one of these trials and errors, because these are not that interesting nor funny as my previous video of me falling over. These are me going to be blindfolded and me starting at a point and then for the first couple guesstimating where the finish line will be and seeing how far off I am. So I'll probably do 1 or 2 videos per trial phase. And include those in my videos, but I don't think they're going to be that relative to what I'm doing. But all of the information, which we'll refer to when we come back and reflect, will be in my lab manual thing. All right, let's go. And we are here, and we're looking at the analysis of the lab that we just did, lab 11. I have my handy dandy blindfold with me, and like I said in the first video, I didn't video many. I think I did 3 of me starting at the starting line and going to the finish line, and there just wasn't that much content to see based off what I was doing. It was more so the variable air, the constant air that we were looking at, and how we can look at our knowledge performance compared to our knowledge of results. My partner, however, did not do this lab. He helped me with like the starting point to tell me when to start, when I finished, and measuring, but he said he did not want to be on camera and look like an idiot. And you know what? I wasn't going to force his hand at that. We got what I needed in terms of the different conditions of the lab and those measurements, and we took that as a win in itself. So for the first one, it's kind of what we would predict to see in the constant air of being further away from the finish point and then getting knowledge of those results to then get that feed forward information to fix it into the next one. And so I started with 80 millimeters away, or 8 centimeters, and then I slowly progressed going back up towards the finish line. And there's a point where you see where my variable or my constant air does increase again because of that unsureness of where the finish line will be. And you'll see my constant air dramatically decrease because I learned if I extended my arm just about all the way, I would be 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters off. And so I was either right on the target or just off of it with just extending my arm. And that's the information that we get through that knowledge of performance and that knowledge of results. So I learned that in the performance, if I extend my arm, then I'm on the target. And then I see that in the knowledge of results as well. And so then as we go through the minute breaks of each trial block, all the way to the retention test of the last 5 trials, I was right on the money from 10 millimeters off, 5 millimeters off, or even in the negatives where I just slightly overshot it. So that's showing a direct performance of what I learned through this task on how to perform it most efficiently. So I cannot say till next time on this last video because it is the last lab, but I will still be around and I'm happy to help. whomever I can next semester, especially with this underperformance stuff that we've had with this class. So they're not dealing with what we have to deal with. But I did enjoy these projects to kind of help me retain the information that we learned a bit better and just to apply it, because this is very cool stuff that we learned. So not till next time.